Hi, everyone. Welcome to our English Conversations. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Michael.
We're excited to spend a few minutes with you today. Maybe you're cooking dinner, commuting to work, or just relaxing.
Wherever you are, thanks for choosing to practice English with us.
You really appreciate it. So today we are doing a deep dive into two very small words.
Just two little words. But, they confuse almost every English learner at some point.
Oh, absolutely. We are talking about the words since and for. They both talk about time.
Right. They both deal with time, but we use them in very different ways. And mixing them up is so common.
It really is. You might stop in the middle of a sentence and think, do I say for 2010 or since 2010? It can kind of feel like a guessing game.
Well, our goal with this deep dive is to stop the guessing. By the end of our conversation today, you will understand exactly when to use which word.
Yes, you will know how to sound completely natural. But before we look at since and for, we need to set the stage a little bit.
We do. We need to talk about the grammar rule where these words usually live, and that is the present perfect tense.
The present perfect. I know that name sounds very serious, very technical.
It does sound like a textbook, right? But the structure is actually quite simple. Let's break it down.
Okay, let's do it.
You just use your subject plus the word have or has plus the past participle, what we sometimes call verb 3.
So basic examples would be, I have lived here.
Exactly. Or she has worked there.
Have lived, has worked. So what does this actually mean?
Well, when we use the present perfect and we add since or for, we are talking about time that started in the past and it continues right up to the present.
It extends to right now.
Yes. Think of it like a bridge. The action starts in the past, but the bridge connects it all the way to today.
I like that. A bridge to today. So let's look at the first tool we use to measure that bridge. Let's talk about the word for.
Okay, for. F-O-R. We use for when we are talking about a period of time, a duration.
A period of time. So it answers a specific question, right?
It does. For always answers the question, how long?
How long? That is the key concept. For equals how long.
Exactly. Let's look at some examples from our sources. Read the first one for us.
Okay. I have lived here for 5 years.
For 5 years. Notice how 5 years is a block of time. It is a duration. It answers the question, how long?
5 years. Right. You can count it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yes. Here's another example. She has studied English for 2 months.
For 2 months. Again, that is a block of time. 2 whole months.
Exactly. You are measuring the length of time, but it does not always have to be a specific number.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Look at this example. They have been married for a long time.
For a long time, I see. A long time is not a specific number, but it is still a block of time.
Right. It is still a period.
Yeah.
So a great tip for you listening is to remember that 5 years, 2 months, and a long time are all blocks of time.
They are amounts. They are not specific dates on a calendar.
Exactly. So that is for. Now let's switch over to since.
Since. S-I-N-C-E. How is this one different?
Since is used for a point in time. It is a specific starting mark.
A starting mark. So it answers a different question.
Yes. It answers the question, since when?
Since when? So since equals from when did it start?
Perfect.
Yeah.
Let's check the examples from our deep dive sources. Here's the first one. I have lived here since 2019.
Since 2019.
Right. 2019 is not a length of time. It is a specific dot on your timeline. It is the exact starting point.
That makes sense. Let's look at the next example. She has worked here since Monday.
Since Monday. Monday is a specific day. It is a dot on the calendar. That is when the work started.
And the action continues to today.
Exactly. Now, the starting point can also be an event in your life.
Like in this example, we have known each other since high school.
Since high school. High school is not a day or a year, but it is a specific point in your past.
It is the starting mark, the exact moment the knowing began.
Exactly. So just remember, 2019, Monday, and high school are all specific dots on the timeline. They're not lengths of time.
I think it really helps to compare these two words directly. Let's look at a scenario.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's compare two sentences. They both mean exactly the same thing, but they use different words.
Right. Here is sentence A. I have lived here for 3 years.
And here's sentence B. I have lived here since 2022.
Both sentences are completely correct. But look at the focus.
Sentence A focuses on the count, the amount of years, 3 years, so we use 4.
Yes. And sentence B focuses on the date it started, 2022, so we use since.
Let's do a little role play so you can hear how this sounds in a real conversation. I will ask the questions.
That's good. I am ready.
Okay. How long have you lived here?
For 5 years.
Since when have you lived here?
Since 2019.
So the question really guides the answer. How long goes with for, and since when goes with since.
That is a great way to think about it. Now, there is a very common structure we need to mention. We use it all the time with since and for.
You were talking about the word been, right? B-E-E-N.
Yes, have been or has been. It is extremely common in the present perfect.
Can you give us some examples of how to use it?
Sure. You might say, I've been here for 2 hours.
I've been here for 2 hours. 2 hours is a duration, so we use for.
Exactly. Or if we want to talk about a starting point, we could say, she has been sick since yesterday.
Since yesterday. Yesterday is the start point on the calendar.
Right. So do not be afraid to use have been with these words. It works exactly the same way.
Okay, so we have covered the rules. Now we need to talk about the danger zone.
The danger zone. You mean the common mistakes?
Yes. The don't do this section of our deep dive. What is the first big mistake?
Mistake number 1 is mixing them up. Putting the wrong word with the wrong time.
For example, saying, I have lived here since 5 years.
Ooh, yes. That is definitely wrong. You cannot say since 5 years.
Because 5 years is a block of time. It is a duration. So what is the correction?
It must be for 5 years.
Right. And people make the opposite mistake too. They say, I have lived here for 2020.
Yes, that is also incorrect. 2020 is a starting point, a date. It is not an amount of time. The correction must be since 2020.
So that is mistake number 1. What is mistake number 2?
Mistake number 2 is using the wrong verb tense completely.
Right. Sometimes people just use the simple past. They will say, I lived here since 2020.
I lived. That means the action is finished. It is stuck in the past. But since 2020 means you are still there today.
So the sentence is confused.
Yes. The correction is that you must use I have lived. You need that present perfect structure. I have lived here since 2020.
That little word have is so important. It builds the bridge to today.
It really does.
So,
Okay, we have covered a lot of information today. Let's do a quick recap for our listeners.
good idea. Let's give you a quick summary. First, we have for.
For equals a quantity of time, a duration, like 5 years, 2 weeks, or a long time.
And then we have since.
Since equals a specific time on the clock or the calendar, a starting point, like 2019, Monday, yesterday, or 8 a.m.
So here is your cheat sheet. The one thing you should remember from today. For equals period. And since equals start point.
For equals period. Since equals start point. If you remember that, you will be in great shape.
You really will. And knowing how to use these correctly is so helpful. It helps you talk about your life history.
Exactly. When you meet someone new, you talk about your experiences, where you have lived, where you have worked.
Using these words correctly helps you share your story accurately. So, before we sign off, we have a provocative question for you to think about.
Yes, we want you to think about your own life right now and answer this question in your head.
How long have you been studying English?
Try to answer it using both words. First, think of your answer using for,
I have been studying English for.
and then think of your answer using since.
I have been studying English since.
That is a great way to practice what we learned today.
It really is. Thank you so much for joining our conversation today. We hope this deep dive was helpful for you.
Yes. Thank you for listening. Keep practicing those sentences, and you will sound natural in no time.
We will see you next time. Goodbye.